If you do not want to change, if you do not want to better yourself, if you do not want to break outside of this matrix, if you want to live in your comfortable delusion that they have built for you, do not watch these videos. Leave this channel. If you do not want any truth, don't want to understand, if you are not here to hear something that's outside of your own mind and accept others' minds and opinions and the way they think for themselves, you do not belong. And finally, if you are not trying to be positive, if you are not trying to help create solutions while we discuss the problems and how they got here, you do not belong here. Negativity, hate, disrespect, name-calling, those things will not be allowed here on this platform, and not in this environment. We are the ones, the true Americans, that want to be free and stand as we have always stood.
Still light the fuel to the game, watch it spark. My lines burn like blunts getting smoked in the dark. Hella cooking shit up if your ass wanna spar. Barbecue your beef up like the seats in my car. Cool yourself up, refrigerator a jar. Baby rappers been acting like this is not an art. Huh, you forgot about that part. Lady rappers been acting like this is not an art. Huh, you forgot about that part.
You forgot about that part, that we in here again and you can't get rid of us. All right? Yes, this shit is exclusive. All right, not everybody finna come here, not everybody finna watch this, but guess what? If you're watching it, you get to take the information to their head. Anytime y'all watch this show, hey, shout out to everybody that went to work today. Shout out to everybody that did overtime. Without you, the world doesn't go round. But here is where you get the cutting edge of information. When people need to get gotcha, you get the information here, and now you got them. Because all we're doing is following logic and rational. Because rationally and logically, there has to be a way of doing things. All right? We are the tip of the spear over here when it comes to actual knowledge. Because we're actually studying and we're actually trying to find out, okay, what's at the root of the core of causes, so we can present solutions that will help better everything. All right? A lot of people, they want to complain about problems but don't want to fix nothing, and that is waste of energy. It's a waste of energy, like, honestly, right? That's where it comes into each individual trying to understand, right, what their purpose is. Now, if you don't know what you're gonna do, naturally, you're not gonna have any goals, you're not gonna have any direction. Naturally, you're gonna be lost if you don't have any purpose, if you don't know what you want to do with your life. This is one of the parts that really messes a lot of people up. So if you don't know you or what you want to do, how could you get information? What kind of information would you look up? You'd be, what, just taking whatever they give you, whatever pops up, you're just spur of the moment. You know, there's a lot of sadness that will settle in on you, and you can get into a mode of depression because you actually don't have any drive or direction towards whatever your purpose is. And this is where mental health instability starts coming in. It creeps in. Mental health instability creeps in when you don't know what your purpose is, when you truly are lost. Like, you don't know what you want, you don't know what you're capable of, you don't know how to participate in society, or how can you get things from society is another one, right? What do you really need? These are questions everybody has to answer on an everyday basis. And the people that try to ignore it are the ones that end up suffering the most. You know, the only thing I'm trying to do is make sure everybody has the opportunity, okay, to try to have a better life. Whether you make the choice or not is up to you. That's why everybody has autonomy. But not even God controls what you do, okay? So if people try to give you that excuse, oh, the devil made me do it, that's just a blatant lie. Okay, not only are they whatever they did, but they're a liar on top of that, because the devil can't make you do anything. But thoughts can be put in your head, okay? And you might think those thoughts are yours. And this is the cool part about music. You can listen to a song a bunch of times and all of a sudden it's stuck in your head. And even when you're not hearing the song, you can hear the song. That right there is how they control your spirit. Perfect example. Now, all they have to do is have these frequency towers, right? Like the ones they have, those fake tree looking things. And they can just generate the frequency that music is tuned to. And now naturally, when those fake palm trees are generating those frequencies that music is tuned to, they're constantly pushing out these frequencies, modified a little bit. What they do is they activate the part of your brain that the music already activated, okay, without the song. That's how we tune ourselves to these frequencies. It's incredible how science shows. Science it really does break down reality in a pretty awesome way, to where you can grasp it as an individual, as a regular person. You just have to care, and most people just don't care, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't expect people to care. Shit, I don't expect anybody to come and have conversations or anything like that either, but I still have to have these conversations. Because if I don't say something, then I'm wrong. The blood is on my hands. And I'm washing my hands. This man is innocent. You guys want to crucify him? Go for it. But my hands are clean. You know, quote Pontius Pilate. Like, what? I know, right? The Bible got a lot of stuff in there, right? But I'm not trying to beat nobody across the head with religion now. But what I will say is, it's time to roll this blizzy. This blizzy. All right, where's all the homies at? It's time to turn up. I'm gonna reach out to the homie in a minute. We're gonna see what CM doing. We're gonna see if the feds come through. We're gonna see if any of these guys come through. Anybody could pop up. It's open panel today. If you got something to say, let's go. This is gonna be good shit. I'm about to drop the link right now, and we are going to have the conversation, but we're gonna brainstorm for solutions. All right. Now, there's a lot of people that don't have solutions, but they have problems to complain about. I'm willing to hear that shit out. But if I give you a solution, don't be mad. Bro, I fixed the shit. Like, come on. What you mad for? Like, come on. Let's fix it. You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, some people don't want it to be fixed. Because if you fix the problem, then they don't got nothing to talk about. Right? Oh, shit. They ain't got nothing to talk about when you can't complain. Some people, that's all they got. You feel me? That's all they got. But we can't be mad at them, because the purpose is, they're lacking purpose. Now it's full circle. That's the part. All right, I dropped the link in the chat. Go ahead and share. Let anybody know if they got a bone to pick. I said a lot of stuff in the past, and if anybody wants to go pull up any of my clips or my videos and try to call me out or talk to me about any of this shit, even though I'm right, like, yeah, I'll hear you out. But still, like, today's challenge day. There's all these big bad wolf out there in their panels, and they think they know everything, and they think they know the right way and to tell everybody, or wait, they know all the ins and outs of the problems and the issues. Okay, fine. That's what we gave them a name yesterday. Everybody that knows all the issues and the problems but doesn't have any solutions for them, those are ismologists. Okay? Because the ism, which is the theory of whatever they're thinking, ismologists, they're studying theology, these theories, and they don't have any concrete solutions, but they have every theory. They got it memorized. It's like their religion. Okay, so ismologist. So anybody that says isms or anything like that, or ist, they're an ismologist, because they're all about isms. All right. So Catholic or Catholicism, whatever ism you want to put on it, you feel me? People that study that shit are ismologists. Okay, it's the ism. That's all they care about. but they don't have any solutions. They don't know how any of these isms connect to the real world and how they either interact or fix problems. They just know what the ism is. So I'm sick of all this ismology shit already. They didn't even have a word for it, but now I do. Marxism. You're an ismologist because you know about it. But how does that help society? Did you guys come up with a solution that actually would benefit all people? So that's the thing about Marxism or anything like that, any kind of ism. Does it benefit people in a moral way? And if it doesn't benefit people in a moral way, how could you back it? How could you support something that doesn't work? That's the real question. A lot of people can't even answer that question because they support things that don't work daily. And they don't know why they're doing it. They're just supporting things that don't work because they don't know what will work, because everybody else around them is failing. They don't have any success stories that actually got it out the mud in a good way. You got success stories that bent over and let somebody get their ass, if you understand what I'm saying. Because you gotta sacrifice something to make millions and billions of dollars. That's not something that comes naturally, the way the system is set up. It's like a piece of you have to give up for that kind of more money, more problems. People say things like this, and then when they get to the top, they say money isn't everything. But we already knew that. That's why most of us aren't worried about getting money. Well, men, we're not worried about having millions of dollars. We're more worried about having a woman that will value us, and we can have something just simple. All right. Now that, because everything goes back to relationships. Everything comes full circle back to relationships, because we need relationships to survive. All right. Us even talking on these YouTubes and on these different platforms or whatever, this shit is because we want to, see what I mean? We want to have relationship, whether it's with people or there's a relationship with ourselves that we want to show people you can have a good relationship with yourself. The self-love is a good thing, but if you're not understanding what love is by loving yourself and actually what's inside of you, you know, putting that out there. That's the thing. You have to put out what's in you. So if you have this self-love and this inner love for yourself, then you should be able to exuberate that. You should be able to exercise that to other people and show them how to love themselves or what self-love looks like. You know what I mean? Because you care about yourself so much. That's one of the reasons why you exactly are showing them love, because you know what love looks like. So each one teach one is something, you know, we learn growing up. Each one teach one. It's a beautiful thing. But I mean, I didn't really have a dad, but we had a community. We had YMCA, little clubs like that. You know, there was things like Boy Scouts, where it was a boys thing. You know, there was men counselors and stuff like that. And then you had the Girl Scouts, where it was a girl thing. And you had women counselors and things like that. These are the parts where our society started to fail, because we stopped seeing the value in those programs. You feel me? And it doesn't seem like, you know, we're gonna get anybody that wants to come and try to debate this at all, because my logic is owning you. My logic is owning you so much you can't even watch it, because it sounds like, damn, another person just trying to put out some good vibes. Don't nobody want to hear that. Y'all probably came to hear some drama there, and there ain't no drama. Not over here. Because everybody's scared to come and hear the truth. So you ain't gonna have much drama over here. You ain't gonna have too many people wanting to come up on this panel because my logic is sound. I'm gonna eat you. Like, there ain't nothing you could do. You could try. They not ready. They not ready. I ain't mad at you though. You feel me? I'm just chilling, kicking it with the homies, my regulars. Shout out to my regulars. You feel me? Y'all doing the thing. Y'all make it worth it, okay? Y'all make it worth it. That's the truth. Without, you know, my regulars, the ones that come and see me every day, without y'all, look, the thing that will happen is nobody would ever get the message. But I'll still give the message for sure. Cause I want to be able to pull this shit up. This right here, all this shit I'm doing right here, this is my receipts. Yeah, I said this, I said that, I said that. Yeah, I'm making my own receipts. So can't nobody get my ass wrong no more. Shit, I got my own clips too. And this is the cool part. My clips go so fucking hard. AI has to agree with me. All right. Anyways, we ready, man. We ready. We turning up around here. You feel me? But people, they don't get it. They don't get it. They don't understand. These are things that they just don't have in mind. All right. They don't think about accountability. Who does? Who really cares about accountability? Like, they're just gonna do what they want to do and on to the next one. You know? This is one of those dang, man. This is wild. This is wild. Where y'all at? Why y'all scared for? Yeah, y'all scared, huh? Y'all don't want to come up here? Y'all don't want to talk? That's what I thought. The regulars, you feel me? It's cool. Y'all absorb the information, pass it on. You feel me? Right now I'm just chilling. I'm trying to think how I'm supposed to be utilizing this. I don't know. It's like this. It's like I guess it's for, I don't know. It's weird. Life is, I don't know. There's all these different little inventions and shit. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna old school that shit. You feel me? But fuck. Anyways, life is life in today. You feel me? There's a lot going on in the world as well. Most people be keeping up with that all the time. I'm more worried about the actual interchangeable relationships. All right. How do we help each other be better? That's kind of where I'm at with it. It's a hard look. It's a real hard look, because are we even doing things for ourselves that would benefit us? Great question. You know? But are we even doing that? This is where people will start to say, oh, you're splitting hairs, this, that, the other. You know, I was thinking about panel hopping a little bit on this live today, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm just gonna run the show as regular, and then we'll just see what happens. We'll see if anybody wants to come up and test my logic. Because anything you tell me, I'm going to ask you questions to test the logic behind your theology, behind your statement. I'm going to test that logic. I'm going to go so hard on your logic that you want to know what my logic is. You see what I'm saying? But my logic is basically what you have to run your logic through to see if it's logical. Ah, now you're understanding. It's a lot to absorb because most people don't know what logic is. I can't be mad at those that don't understand logic. Logic is something that was designed for heavenly matters. And earthly beings like us have no business contemplating or, you know, trying to interact with heavenly events at all whatsoever. Humans are limited, okay, like we should be, because if we didn't have a limit, knowing our hearts, the world would be much more evil than it is. It's yeah, we're getting into some gray territory. We'll lose some people because, dude, when you're looking at the human heart, like, think about your own heart. Like, what is it that you want? You want to feel good. You want to be happy. You want all of the things that would be considered as pleasurable. right? But does that make you lustful? Does that make you greedy? Does that make you, see what I'm saying? Yeah, I know it goes like that, because if we get weighed and found wanting, you see what I mean? It's like, is there any satisfying us at all? Or are we just gonna be forever chasing our lust, chasing that pride, chasing that whatever makes you feel good? Like shit, I flew down the way. I got here late because I went to go get some more weed. Hell yeah, I smoke. Why? Because this is what I do right now. I'll stop eventually, maybe. I mean, what else is there to do? I don't like drinking. You know what I'm saying? Partying with the homies, but what do? They drink or they'll smoke, right? But then what? Like, where is the relaxation? Where is the kickback? You know what I'm saying? The relax. Like, what does that look like? Each individual has a different way of relaxing, I assume. So to judge somebody purely off of relaxation and being at peace, especially if that looks a little different than what you're used to, that's kind of hard. But if their peace or their whatever they're relaxing is to the detriment of someone else and it's hurting someone else, I mean, that's never going to be okay. But there are situations where people are going to try to advocate for some kind of heinous way of relaxing, which is fucking weird. I don't know why people always try to find the most heinous ways to say they're doing something good, right? It's like some dude was frozen, or he was freezing cold or whatever, and you lit him on fire. That's crazy work. Just because you wanted to warm him up, that's wild. Like, that's how backhanded it actually is. And we have to take it into consideration. We do. Because a lot of people, they really don't have a sense of what's the point. They don't have a sense of it. They don't understand where it's all coming from. Why do anything is the big question. Why do anything at all? I mean, for real. Oh, because of money, right? But why do you need money? Because somebody stripped away all the resources, stripped away all the land, got some people to say, hey, if we can defend this and we can convince people that this is ours, then they'll have to do whatever we say so they could be a part, so they could participate. And that's how our government came about. Because we have to look at it. There was people already here that were just living off the land, having real culture with real villages, and look at Pocahontas and you know, John Smith, right? Just look at the story in general, and there's the world in a nutshell. You know, I know I'm losing some people. I am. It's okay. I'm not mad at you. Go do your thing. Like I said, the truth ain't for everybody. All right, the truth just ain't for everybody. And that's all I got over here is the truth. I'm sorry. I don't have nothing else but the truth. What is truth? Quote, Pompous Pilot. Right? What is truth? Truth is the ability to know what's factual, what's probable, and what's capable. That's what truth is. Truth is a hard one, because a lot of people can't understand what those words I just said were. Okay? Capable is something that is truth. You know what's capable. You know what's probable is truth. These are things people, what is truth is the question. Who's ready? I got textbook definitions. Who's ready? Say something in the comments. Go ahead, pop up here on the live. You feel me? Because we're going to get to the bottom of this. All right? It may take a couple episodes, but we will get to the bottom of this. That's fact. All right, so are there Any takers, any questions, things like that? Otherwise, we're gonna go to the next section. Welcome to the Brainstorm. All right, roll them if you got them. You know, we're about 25 minutes in. Shit. Everybody's scared. Right now, I'm just waiting. It's like fishing at the lake. Who's gonna bite? Who's gonna bite? Right? And that's where I'm at. But I'm still trying to figure out what that thing is, man. I don't know what that thing is. I don't know how to use it yet. It's supposed to be like a blunt crutch or some shit. Maybe I'll probably use it with a backwood. Maybe that might help the backwood stay open at the end. Whatever. But this brings us to one of our biggest points right now. One of our biggest points is that no matter how much you think you know, if you don't know how to use that information, then you don't know nothing. You don't know anything at all. Okay? If you have information but you don't know how to utilize it, you don't know. Period. You have no idea. All right? That's the truth. We're gonna lose a lot of people. I mean, we had like 10 people. We lost 7. My bad. I ain't trying to hurt your feelings. This is what it is, man. Like, this is one of those podcasts where you say in the comments, you interact. I chop it up with you. Because I want to hear what y'all have to say. That's what this whole thing is based off of. This whole thing. Y'all talk to me in the comments. Anything y'all want to say, anything you want to debate, I'll eat it up. Why? Because this is what we do. This is what we're supposed to do. You feel me? A lot of people go to different channels and they don't read the comments. And, you know, even if you say a good one, they'll skip over it because they're about the money. I don't really care about none of that. I don't even know if I'm going to monetize this channel. I think I'm going to leave it regular. I'll take tips. I left it up there on the board, but hey, like, say what you want to say. Throw me a question. Have something on your mind. How was your day? Otherwise, you know, it's all about women have all the power. And we need to try to get to women and understand, have them understand that, hey, as men, we can only do what you want us to do. And as women, if y'all don't know what y'all want, what do y'all want us to do? Exactly. It's full circle. Right? And what? All right. Well, shit. Come and go. That's the way it is. I ain't got nothing to say. Because my logic is too sound. That's the part. Like, you could try to debate me all day. I'm telling you, people have tried to debate me, but they end up agreeing with me. The only people that will refuse to agree with me are straight liberals, lefties, Democrats, or straight, like, full conservatives. If you already dug your feet and drew your line, you dug your feet into the dirt and you drew your line, bro, in the sand, there's no convincing you. So, like, debating you is pointless. You know what frequency you're assigned to, so you might as well go find those like-minded people and start building society. There's no point in having any kind of conversations with people, especially if you're far right or far left. You got your toes dug in the ground, bro, and you got your line crossed in the sand. Like, there's no point in having that debate if you know you're not going to change your mind. The point, if you're not going to change your mind, you got to go find like-minded people so you guys can start building the community you want. And then you can run statistics from studying that community. See what I mean? You can run statistics and compare it to other communities. Per capita, things like that. But you have to have a template. If you don't have a template for the way you want your society to run by actually getting your people together that believe it and doing it, see what I'm saying? Everybody's trying to yell at the rooftops and convince everybody they're right instead of trying to have the conversation with the people that agree with them on how they can make their movement, you know what I'm saying, stronger. And when I say their movement stronger, there is a mindset, okay? There's a mindset and there's an ideology that's behind what your principles are. But if you don't know what your purpose is, then you most likely don't know what those principles are. If you don't know what your purpose is, you most likely don't know what your principles are. So that's why some people are just what? They're just going with the flow, man. And as the rules change, they adapt to the rules. But that's one of the kickers. So when we're looking at it, not knowing yourself and not knowing your purpose really does slow you down in all your principle making, all your decision making. Like, how can you stand on business when you don't even know who you represent? Like, what company do you work for, but you standing on business type shit? Like, people don't even know what their job is. Like, men and women are confused, right? That's all people. We're all confused. Like, what's the man's role? What's the woman's role, right? What's the corporation's role? What's the employee's role, right? Are these things equal? No, probably not. I might lose some people or bust some bubbles. Just get offended. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? I can't help it. I'm trying not to offend, but the logic is adding up when it comes to these situations. So we gotta keep in mind that what we're doing here with this brainstorm is not for everybody. This is absolutely not for everybody. A matter of fact, I'll put $1,000 that this channel is not for many people at all. Okay? I'll put $1,000 on that shit. Now this channel is gonna be reviewed. It's not gonna get no likes. It's gonna have views later, but it's not gonna get no likes. Not gonna get no subscribers, but it's gonna get views, watch. Because people are gonna start debating this shit. Because I'm touching some chords that belong in songs. I really don't see how people are going to be able to get away from this. You don't have to talk to me now. You don't have to have this conversation with me here, but guess what? The conversation I'm having, it's going to be everywhere once people start to catch on. All right? And that's just the way it is. It's true. I'm not trying to hurt nobody's feelings. I'm not trying to hurt nobody's feelings. All right, so here's a key right here. First, I want to save that. All right, so here's a key real quick. When you, never mind. I'm not gonna do that key. We're not gonna do that key. We're gonna leave that alone. Nope, we're gonna leave that alone. It is what it is. Hold up. I'm looking right now. Hold up. All right. I will. I'm not gonna do any. I'm gonna do some. Nah. Okay. All right. Cool. So, starting to get my little thing going here. All right. So I will pull up the watch later because I don't know if we should do the knowledge well yet. I'm still trying to collect a few things for the knowledge well. So that way, when I bust out the knowledge well, we got some like solid, like for real content. All right, but this one right here, we're gonna do this. All right, so I got everything loaded up now. Okay, cool. So what we're gonna do is we're going to really start going in on okay. All right. All right, man. All right, here we go. All right, we got it loaded up. Everything's gonna go in right now. I dropped the link. Come on up if you got something to say. But Logic is about to handle this shit right now. I'm gonna critique this whole shit. All right, here we go, because we're about to go in right now. Now this is gonna be a little, okay, it's gonna be really controversial. I'm not gonna lie. It's gonna probably make a lot of people upset. But what this one is right here is good old, we're about to have some single moms versus single dads. All right. Single moms versus single dads. Does society hold them to the same standard? Boom, boom, boom. All right. You ready to get mad? All right. I'm going to tell you now. If you are sensitive, you should not be here. If you're not trying to learn something, you shouldn't be here. All right. Real shit. But if you got something to say, make a comment. Because that's funny. I want to hear what you say. I want to see your logic if it stands up. Don't be shy. All right, let's see. Now, before I let these dudes and this whole shit go, this is going to be wild. All right, I'm nervous. It's just a video, but I'm nervous. Like, what? Oh, shit. This shit going to be wild, man. All right, so here we go.
Welcome to Counterpoint, where we've made it our mission to share conversations that are honest, unscripted, and grounded in real experience. We bring people with different perspectives to the same place for open debate and conversation. I'm your host, Ryan Price, and on today's episode, we have single moms, single dads. Now, let's get into this episode of Counterpoint. Single fathers are respected more in society.
Okay. Single fathers are respected more in society. Very interesting question. Very interesting question. How does this question make y'all feel? If you're watching this after the stream, go ahead and leave a comment. That's good to know. How do you feel about this question? It's a beautiful thing. Single fathers are respected more in society than single mothers. Is that true? Well, how often do you actually get a single father? Woo! With the where he's just solely taking care of the kids and the mom's not there. That doesn't happen very often. So it's a very hard question to answer for most men, because most men don't get to be single fathers, but the moms get to claim single mothers. See, look, I need somebody that's gonna get mad. Get out of here. It's okay. Yeah, I'm watching the numbers. I got to, because I know I'm watching. I'm talking to each one of y'all. So every time you come in and you leave out, I know if you got offended. Clip that shit. Now, real shit. Single fathers are respected more in society than single mothers is the question. It's not really a question. It feels like a statement posed as a question, when they should have asked, are single mothers respected more in society than single fathers? And the answer is no. Single fathers are not respected more in society than single mothers. And that's why somebody was getting all happy, but they realized I understood with how they framed the question on purpose. This question was horribly framed. First of all, this question was horribly framed. Okay? Now, if they had said, are single mothers respected more than single fathers, everybody would have said yes. But if they put single fathers are respected more than single mothers, now it's like, whoa, single fathers are respected more? Like, no, they're not. But we'll see.
Than single mothers. We'll start by bringing up everyone that agrees now. Why do you feel that single fathers get more respect than single mothers in society?
I think they get more respect because there's fewer of them, if I'm honest. There's programs for single fathers. There are not a lot of programs directly for single mothers that call out single mothers. There's Fathers Initiative programs. So I think it's because it's so rare.
I actually had this conversation last night. It's becoming more the norm now, but it wasn't. So if, say there's a single dad with their kids and they're out of control, and I'm there with my kids and they're out of control, the people are going to...
So, right before she finishes that, the other lady said something very specific. And she said there's all these single dads programs, but WIC, what does WIC even stand for? See what I'm saying? So, like, what she's saying, and then she even said there's not all that for women. That's not even true. Food stamps was originally for single women, and so was Section 8. That's why they can't have a man in the house in a lot of those situations. But we'll keep going.
Out of my experience and what I've seen a lot of times, get on me about or make snide remarks or comments or whatnot because they see a mom that has no dad with them. Kids are out of control. You're not parenting right. But if they see a dad that way, do you need help? Oh, that's because they're not used to seeing that, I guess. But it is becoming more the norm. So that's where I feel like they get more respect. Things like that, little things.
You don't see it very often. A lot of times, in my experience, I've seen where if there's a single dad, then they end up with a girlfriend or a mother type figure in their lives to, kind of help with it. There's a single dad, then they're getting the extra help, or there's classes and different events for them, like daddy-daughter dance. I mean, sometimes you'll hear about mommy and me, but mostly it's the dad thing.
Okay. Well, and now it's time to bring up everyone that disagrees.
Now, before they come up here disagreeing, wow, they threw a commercial at us too. It's crazy. So we're gonna have to rupture that commercial in about 5 seconds. But my problem
Imagine
with
being able to build an app with your name on it.
All right, so my problem is with their whole situation that they're talking about with the single dads, right? See, and then he said daddy, daughter, or whatever. But you gotta think about it. Most of those dads are not single dads. And then they're saying, oh, well, they usually have a mother figure, blah, blah, blah. But most men are not even having women anymore, if you look at the statistics, right? So men that have children, if kids, oh man, the numbers, like the way people say shit, the numbers just don't even add up to support them. And that's what bothers me the most. It's like people just be saying shit. But yes, there's less single men out there because the women usually get custody.
So I obviously find it interesting that it was all 4 gentlemen and 1 lady. But first I want to get the ladies' take, and then I want to go to the subject at hand.
So, hot take. I don't think single fathers or mothers are respected. I think we're pitied. And I think both of us are in the same situation.
That was probably one of the most genuine answers I've ever heard when it comes to this. That was one of the most genuine answers I ever heard. They're pitied. That is, yeah, I could see that. And they're in the same situation. Go ahead, cook.
And I think every time somebody looks at us and they find out that you're a single parent or you wear that badge or things like that, it actually can go against you, especially like in the corporate world. So
I feel like single dads, we don't get no love shown at all. For one, I've never heard of any programs that were like, oh, if you're a single dad, we got your back. Hell no. If anything, they just look at you like, you better figure it out. You know what I mean? Like Father's Day is not even held with the same significance as Mother's Day at all. And like,
everybody forgets about Father's Day.
like I said, there was never not one time where they were like, yeah, here's a program for you and your daughter or whatever. None of that. Most of the time, shelters are for mother and kids. You know what I mean? There was times when I was younger where that would have helped me out a lot if I would have been able to hear about some type of resources like that and whatever. And, you know, it is what it is, though. You know, that's what just comes along with it. But for sure, like, I've never heard of any programs that were for helping single dads.
Now, that's true. What he's saying right here is the truest thing. That's why when Homegirl said what she said, you see what I'm saying? When Homegirl said what she said, it was like, all right, well, that's how she wants to be, really? And that's the thing about it. Like, he just proved her wrong already.
As with kids. And like I said, for Father's Day, like, it's not really, it don't even feel like it's the same significance at all. Like, I've never been to a restaurant where they were like, yeah, Father's Day, you get to eat for free and shit. And like, even the gifts suck. Like, the Father's Day gifts suck.
You know, with me and my kids, I can't go out and get food stamps. I can't go out and get any benefits like that. In fact, I lost 3 kids to the court system, which is a little different, but in the state of Nebraska specifically, is tailored to the mother. And these are based off of laws from the 50s when the soldiers went to war and the government tried to step in to help the mothers and the children. So it's been a battle that I've been fighting for the last at least decade. I'm trying to get my kids back in my life, and it's been tough. So that's why I disagree.
Disagree as well, piggybacking off of what he said. The court system's a different topic, or
Yeah, we will do that one later in this episode.
are horrible for men. I've been trying to get my daughter for a while, and it's nearly, you got to pay a lawyer, God knows how much. The same thing, Father's Day, nobody really says much about it. Like, you go out to a restaurant, not even the waitress or anybody says Happy Father's Day.
I think in general in society, guys are thought of as like the breadwinner. So when there is a split, I think that they're like, the guy, you're just supposed to handle it. Like, you're supposed to do that. And if you have a single mom, like I have 3 kids, but I think if you have a single mom raising 3 kids, everyone's like empowering her because they're like, wow, how do you do that by yourself? How do you do that by yourself? And as a dad, I think they're like, you should just do it. Like, put on your boots and get to work and take care of your family. So,
But did anybody hear anything that they said that, you know, just didn't, I don't know, you don't agree with? Or you do, you know?
I'm happy to give you the resources afterwards. There are fathers resources. There's a whole initiative at Lutheran Family Services for fathers, and I'm happy to give that to you.
I will say too, like piggybacking off of that, I haven't heard of
any programs since I've had kids.
Because everybody used to be all moms, like he said, like it stems from the 50s.
Is this like
that's the names
newer?
of things, but it is for any single parent.
Okay, I'm going to challenge everybody real quick. Okay, so as women, right? Not to make it a gender thing, but we actively go out and search for community. Y'all have it in your heads because regardless of how you were raised, that you have to do this shit on your own. And I have a lot of guy friends that are single dads, and the second I give them a packet of resources, they like, oh my God, why? And they bawl. And it's because you guys don't always reach out for those kind of resources, or you don't go to the right place. And that sucks. And that really sucks, because you guys should know what your rights are. And like, I feel for you because you should know what your rights are. And I want to let you know that the Nebraska.
He's very understanding. Like she gets it. Like, ladies, this is a woman right here. All right, y'all just gonna have to, take this L on the chin. She's cooking. And the thing is, there is no love for men. That's the problem. There is no love for us. And if there was, trust me, performance will be better. Just like employees at work. If you treat your employees better, they produce more.
Nebraska court system has gotten better
Hell no.
because of my story. So with that being said, that's a contender here too when it comes to resources. And I do feel like women, we are just supposed to be motherly, and we are supposed to know how to be mothers. I have a problem often. I'm a working mom. I do very well for myself. And people comment on how often I work. People comment on how often I do stuff, and I should be at home all the time. I shouldn't be working. Well, I'm sorry, I'm a single mom and I don't get support from anyone besides me. How am I supposed to do that? I had to go out and find my village. I had to go dig for resources, and it was really hard.
I think just from a young age though, like just growing up, we're taught like just get it together, just do it. So we isolate. I don't go to my buddies and be like, hey, you want to help me with my kids? Like, you want to watch the kids or something so I can go do whatever, like.
And do you feel like that's a problem?
Yeah, for sure.
Do you feel like after you guys like heard that, or heard me say that, or heard them say some of that about resources, that you think that?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think we all wish we had resources, or knew about the resources.
When I was in the court system, they didn't tell me anything about anything for single fathers at all, not one time. Because I would have took advantage of it. If I'm 21, 22 with a kid, why wouldn't I? They didn't tell me nothing.
I think an important part about all this too is what people fail to realize is people trust man and woman before they trust God. And I'll bring that in because I'm a believer. The fact of the matter is women are supposed to live in their feminine and men are supposed to live in their masculine. And when you have that exact replication in a family household, healthy, that's how it works. That is the golden key. Now when people are like, well, we can't do that, well, it's not gonna work then.
I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. Yeah.
Just show of hands, who's been disrespected for being a single parent? Okay, who's been, gassed up or, I don't know, respected for it?
If you don't work in IT, keep scrolling.
I agree with what you said, pitied part in the beginning. And I also agree with what you said about the communication thing. I feel like guys are more like, I'm just going to figure it out. I'm not going to, that's not a good thing to go talk to another guy about my problems. So I'm just going to stick to what I know.
It's like, maybe I'm not getting respectful comments. It might be more pity that like of your situation. It's not like respect for you raising the kids. It's almost pity for like, oh, your situation that led to your divorce and now you have to raise the kids by yourself. So it's like, is it respectful or is it you pity my situation?
Anybody who's ever commented on me being a single mom, why does my marital status have to be involved? Why can't I just be a great mom? Why can't you just be a great dad?
Yep.
Like, anytime somebody has commented on me being a single parent, I'm a fabulous mom. Like, sorry, ladies, the best mom. Okay? And that's where that came from, is because anytime your marital status is brought up with it, it is a pity comment.
It's not any different than Why does a credit score matter to determine if you're a good person?
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with it. It's the way of the world.
Yeah. And it's like it's like what you know and who you know. And I'm a huge advocate for fathers, for mothers, like figuring this stuff out, because it's hard.
Especially fathers. I mean, even though I agreed with the situation, I don't agree with the way you get treated. Like, I've seen it. And to be honest with you, when I got divorced, I wasn't the best single mom right off the bat. But I didn't fight my ex either for custody, because I believe there needed to be both of us present. So I feel for men when they're willing to step up to the plate and the women are like, nope. And I think that's crazy.
And I think old school ideology too, with, you know, men having to be the breadwinners, and we're prideful, if you will, you know, and then you have the fathers that want to step up versus the men who don't. The men who don't put a bad ideology in people's minds, like, well, if you don't want to do that, then we're going to work this way. And then when the guys go to step in and say, hey, these are my kids, I'm going to take responsibility, then it's 10 times harder. The magnitude is just like, it's like rays of sun, man, because you're blinded by it. You can't move forward from it. I mean, you can, but it's difficult.
Well, like my situation, like I love my ex-husband dearly, and it sucks that this had to happen, genuinely. And for our situation, it's convoluted, and I will always protect him, you know. But there are situations and stuff where like things had to happen, right? And I think sometimes people only get like one side of the story, and they just like don't look at everything. In our situation, there was a huge custody battle, and it wasn't because we both wanted that. We did not want that. I knew we didn't want it, but it had to happen because of mental health stuff. And long story short, you know, lots of money later, we are here, and neither of us are really happy about the situation, but the court got involved, and it had to happen. And it sucks. It really sucks.
You know, even just sitting here, I was just thinking about, okay, people, let's say this is a relationship, and then this is the court system. Literally, that's all we have. Okay, but really there's a space between my hands. Why can't there be something developed? Does anybody know anything that's been developed to make a middle ground or a third party before you have to go to court and spend thousands of dollars? Like, let's talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Completely different.
Well, they have counseling, and they have like split of a home, right? There's always like a progression, and they have counseling, they have mental health therapists, they have all sorts of advocacy centers for stuff in between. But the problem is when you have two people who can't see and get on the same page and see eye to eye and start throwing money at things, that's when bad stuff happens. Or
that's a good point.
Yeah, or not their money, or whoever is talking in their ear. You know, it takes a village, right? Like everybody has their village. Sometimes villages have pitchforks, and sometimes they have pie. It just depends upon which one, right?
Want to be a part of a Counterpoint episode? If you like conversing about topics that matter to you, hit the casting link in our bio. Don't wait, spots fill fast. The child support system is fair. We'll start by bringing up everyone that agrees now.
Wow, that's easy. I think everybody should, nobody sit down. But we'll see. Yeah, man, this one is pretty interesting. At the same time, I'm feeling like, is this really what's supposed to be happening? But we can't control everything. So I guess some things have to happen. Her logic is sound. We'll get back to it.
We'll start, and I guess now's a good time to bring up everyone that disagrees. Pretty curious to see why each of you think so. So if there's anybody that would like to start on one side or the other.
So I think, you know, with the child support system and the government doing what they do, I feel like it's not fair because it depends on every situation, right? So like if the child goes with the mother, the child goes with the father, there needs to be financial support, right? Going based off of these large amount of calculations and then putting everybody in the same calculation when everybody's situation is different doesn't make any sense to me.
If you're not using a business travel platform like Navan, you're really missing out. Hi, I'm Ellie, and I'm the People Operations.
I think it's unfair because I've seen people intentionally under-earn to avoid making any payments or to avoid paying for insurance. It's kind of...
All right. So, yeah, there's people like that. The majority of people don't do that, though. The majority of people are pretty decent, which is why it's disappointing that, majority of the cases are mishandled. It's okay though. I will. Wow, it's so funny. Like, this shit's funny, but it's true. Like this right here. This is real. It's hard to disagree with a lot of it. So far so good. There was a few things, a few bumps and hiccups, but the other guy called out homegirl on it. So boom, it's even right now. Everything is true right now. So far, we're keeping up. This is a good episode. We're gonna get back to it.
Discussing.
And in some states, I think like if you were making a certain amount, they still force that amount, even if you and obviously there are jobs and things like that there are situations that happen where you get fired and stuff. But to kind of prevent that, I have a personal belief about this. Like, those are your children, and you should want to do anything that they need, right? So if your child needs something, I think you should do whatever you can to support it. And I wish both sides would always just see it that way, because I think with the child support system, the way it is and how it is now, the only person or people in most cases that get hurt in that situation is a kid.
I feel like we, as a person that receives child support, I mean, the amount that you spend on your kids is way, way more than that. There's people who are wanting to do well for their kids, but then they end up getting taken by somebody that's on the female side, or vice versa. Or you have men that don't want to take care of their kids, and then it's making it bad for the ones that do. So it's not one side or the other that is the worst. It's both.
I think the financial or the child support system's messed up. My situation's obviously, everybody's situation's different. Mine's, well, I think probably way different than a lot of yours here with my older kids, not my youngest.
We're about to get into some details right here. Everybody's gonna start going with their story here. And see, life experience is a good way to understand something and to learn from it. And when somebody actually takes that seriously, it can bring a lot of insight from a perspective you never would have thought. So we'll go ahead and keep going with this one. We'll see what she talked about.
Older kids got taken. Fought for them. I had paid child support for my kids. I will pay child support for my kids. Absolutely, I will. There's a difference between what they need and want, I think, and what, what I mean, their needs, their necessities, whatnot. I'm not going to pay for whoever had them to live a luxury lifestyle with my kids in rags, it looks like. But the court system made me pay child support. When they took my rights away to those children, I got put in jail for non-payment child support. You're not letting me see my kids. They're not my kids anymore. Why would I pay child support? And I sat in jail for a month before they finally realized I'm going to stand on it. I'm not. If you let me see my kids, they're my kids. I will pay the support. So that's where I think our government and whatnot, they let us down in the child support system.
I feel like with child support, like everybody stated, every situation is different. But I feel like they need to do a better job with having like a third party or something oversee each situation and make sure that it's suitable and it's current with whatever the situation is. Because sometimes they could have a rate set at something that might be where that person was making that at that time, but it might be different, or it might be less, where a person is making more income and they need to adjust the rates to that's suitable, for the the child or whatever like that. So that's one of the things where I really do feel like they should have a third party oversee each case and and pretty much like review it every 6 months to see what.
See, look. You guys see that? You see that? That's mitigation. We were talking about mitigation all day yesterday. Okay, mitigation. This is something that if the government is going to be helpful and we're going to have a program, that program needs to be obligated to mitigate. All right? The whole point of a mediary is to make sure both parties uphold their part of the deal. That's really it.
What's going on and everything, and talk to both parties and to make sure that things are going accordingly versus them just setting something and don't ever look back into it or recheck to make sure everything's cool or whatever like that. And
yeah, so I have 50-50 custody, so I've always been like, all right, if we're sharing the same amount of time with the kid, and I've dealt with a career under earner or where she's getting paid under the table, so when they look at her financials, they're like, wow, you're making all of this and she's making this, so they're like, well, that's how we're going to base child support. And I was like, I know for a fact that she's making more than that. But also too, when you're giving them child support, you don't know that any of that money is actually going to child support.
To go off of what you said with the whole modifications, you're kind of like that jerk if you know something's going on and you feel, I'm going to say.
See, this is what most men are going through in abundance, all right? And there's some guys that really are these douchebags, but like the regular decent dude is, come on, man. Like, he ain't even trying to hurt. He trying to help. Like, come on, man. Have a heart. It's whatever.
you feel guilty, but you somewhat feel guilty that you have to, you know, modify or whatever, and then go through the whole thing again and get lawyers and God only knows what else. So, you know, that's my take on it. And basically there's always caps on, you know, for my situation on, you know, like extracurriculars and I don't even know what else, medical, and who comes up with that.
Okay, I want to bring it back to the spending child support money on not child support. It seemed like you guys had something to say about that.
I feel like a lot of people say, like, they focus on, oh, the mom is, you know, spending a lot of money and that it's not really going to the kid. But I mean, how do you know that? Like, how do you, just because a person is dressing nice or they are able to manage their money a certain way doesn't mean that it's not going to the kid. And
she getting defensive. She's getting defensive because she has nice clothes. You see what I'm saying? She's defending it right now. But here's the thing. If that is going to the mom so she can have her nice clothes, then the mom doesn't have to pay for her nice clothes. She can pay for the rent, right? But then she'll turn around and ask for more money for rent. It's crazy. But y'all not together though. But that's for the kid. But you just gave her. But oh, see, here we go. Defend it, but it's just bullshit.
And I mean, if you're going to sit there and be like, okay, I bought milk today and I bought this, or it was the rent. I mean, like he said, there's extracurricular activities. And I can tell you for a fact that the extracurricular activities that my kids had, the child support didn't even cover that.
Yeah.
The more you stay home, the less you want to leave. And the more you stay...
Crazy work. They keep hitting us with these commercials for sure.
In my personal case, I not only pay child support, but she doesn't help with any extracurriculars, so I pay for that too. So when we went to court, they were like, all right, you guys get 50-50 custody, and then they're like, for any extracurriculars, they're like, just figure it out. So the court doesn't do anything about it. They just say, that's your guys' issue, you figure it out. And
child support doesn't cover extracurriculars.
For those people watching, what is an extracurricular?
Sports, dance,
art.
Yeah, anything that the kid wants to do that is not a necessity. So child support covers the necessities of what the child needs.
Okay.
But I mean, when you say need, I think extracurricular is a need because it teaches the kid responsibilities and teamwork and all of the things that are encompassed in that. But if you know, you're looking at, oh, well, okay, I'm just going to pay for the rent or the, you know, the food and clothing, stuff like that. Well, the extracurricular is outside of that and it's so expensive.
Yeah. In my case though, I was like, I'll kind of bite the bullet on that one because I was like, I'm not going to say, no, you can't dance because mom doesn't want to help out. I'm like, I'm going to pay for it. I'm going to figure out a way to do it.
Yeah. In my case, when I wanted to put the kids in, well, that if you want to do that, you pay for it. I'm not paying for it, you know?
And well, what really sucks, that's a lot of society too. Think back in the day, we did fundraisers. You know, we did car washes. We did all that to pay for our own stuff as kids. And that's what's wrong with kids kind of nowadays. But that's a whole other subject. Okay.
Nowadays, you still.
All right. See, this is starting to get interesting because the energy in the room is starting to change a little bit in their conversation. This is a good review right here too. The point that she's making, it has weight, right? But when it comes to extracurriculars, if let's say it's supposed to be 50-50 and let's say the child is with him and the child is with her half the time, right? And every other Wednesday, fine, that's cool. So the whole point I'm making right here is when it comes to that co-parenting situation where you guys are in two separate places, both of you guys got the same bills. So her saying she has bills doesn't work. But if he's paying for all the clothes and shoes and things like that, okay, all you have to do is pay for the extracurriculars. So it's even. Unless you want to pay for all the clothes and shoes and stuff, and then he could pay for all the extracurriculars because that costs more. So you guys have to figure that out. But you can't say do both. Like, you got to do something, or you guys can stay married and now you have twice the money. Like, it's not making any sense. Okay, at that point, if it's not going to be like something legit. All right, so we'll continue with this right here, but like I said, the logic is getting a little wacky. The energy has changed. We're going to continue analyzing this. Let's go.
have fundraisers, but the cost.
We're talking $3,000 for a kid to play baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
At like
insane.
minimum.
Yeah.
Like,
But I'm very fortunate. I'm 50-50 also, and we're good there. But I think of when my parents got divorced, my mom's job was to raise the kids. And when dad left and child support got smashed in half when his job changed, she was already working, but she had to go think about, do I need to go get a college education now because I can't afford to help my kiddos? So it shouldn't come to that.
And I don't get child support. So like everything is 100% on my shoulders. I get something from the government because of our situation, but it is so small, but it's not something from him directly. And with that being said, it doesn't cover anything. And I've had this argued to me because like, I don't really buy anything new for me, but I own a business. And so I have really nice things in my business because it needs to run smoothly.
Okay, so she figured it out. That's cool. I like that. That's great. All right. See, single mom power. See. But either way, I gotta run this real quick. All right. So we have been cooking today. This has been a great episode. This right here, let's go.
And I've been called out on that. Like, oh, that's where that payment's going. I'm like, bro, that payment barely pays for his ABA therapy. It barely pays for his clothes. And that's just my son. We're not even talking about my high maintenance daughter that wants to get her nails done every week, which we're not doing, but she's 5. But those kind of things, it doesn't count for those things that do make the kid like who they are. And
the refrigeration school. If you want.
So again, we gotta hit us with commercials. Because they know we know.
that's a problem.
Part of my argument stems from just because we weren't married when we had my daughter. So we were living together still for a while, and I still had to pay her child support because the court said, if you guys aren't married, then we're still going to make you pay child support. So I saw what she was spending money on. Wow. So in that case, I saw what she was spending money on.
Question, who would be down for, if you receive child support, you must report everything you spend that money on?
I have to.
I don't know. I'm not in, so I don't know. Is that a thing? Is that a thing? I didn't know that.
I think it depends on your mediation or what you have set in your things. Like
my ex-husband and I, we write down expenses and show receipts, and then we reconcile them once a month. And sometimes I've spent a little bit more, and so the next month he subtracts that out of what he owes, and vice versa. And for us, it works.
Yeah, I think accountability is the number one thing that has to happen for both sides.
Yeah.
Because your story is very valid, and I wish more people were like you, because I pay child support, and I like to see where the money's going, because I can't see what the void is. So if there's extracurricular and I'm paying $600 a month for one child, okay, there's no answer. It's all just mystery. So being able to see that, be accountable, and do that, accountability is huge.
So in my situation, I get SSI, and because I get SSI, it has to be they send out a form. Is it perfect? No, but they send out a form and they ask you exactly what you spent money on. And in our agreement, I love my ex-husband dearly, and I love the fact that he does try when he can, and we never really argue about when the kids need something or when something. It's just kind of a conversation. But I know with his particular situation and my particular situation, I'm financially more capable than he is, and so it's important that I recognize that. And again, it's about my kids. I don't ever think about what he's spending money on or what he's doing or what I'm doing. That's my business and that's his business. And I think more people should think that way instead of tit for tatting it.
Yeah.
See, my situation is I've been fortunate enough to be blessed to be able to have a great co-parenting relationship with my daughter's mom. And it didn't start out that way. When we were younger, we weren't able to be on the same page for a while, but but I always, made sure that I did my responsibilities as a father, regardless if me and her were together or not. Even when she started seeing some other dude, I still stood on business and took care and paid for all my kids' stuff. And at one point, pretty much had a real conversation with her, and I was just like, yo, man, I'm not your enemy here. You know what I'm saying? We both have the same, we both have the same common thing, which is our daughter's well-being, and we'll do better off working together than we are feuding with each other. And just a flip switch, and we've been on the same page ever since, to where I don't even have to ask her what are you doing with the money or none of that.
And I feel like when people split up for whatever reason, they feel like they have to be enemies, like you were saying, but they don't have to, you know, and it should be about the kid and their well-being. I can tell you, I've never been.
Okay. So here's another good part, because, oh man, this is so good. This is so good how they're coming to the circle, and then everybody realized that it is about the kid, it is about the legacy. That is one of the things that women and men nowadays, they're not taking that into consideration, that if they have a baby, they are locked in for a very long time because of that baby. That's why there's so many abortions. That's why there's so many abortions. Yeah, straight up. And this is the thing that's stopping society from taking sex sacredly. It has to be sacred again. And we have to remind women that they are sacred and they have this virtue to uphold, because they're supposed to be the thing every man aspires for, right? Like, because if we weren't, like, what are we getting all this money and all this stuff for if we're not gonna have kids? And we need a woman to do that. It's been etched in stone since we were created. And I don't know why people want to try to run from that. Why run from the actual purpose of a man? A man is here for woman. A woman is here for a man. That's the truth. But nobody wants to hear the truth. And I don't want anybody's feelings to be hurt. It's the truth. Like, I'm the homie. I'm trying to hang out. I'm trying to kick it, but this is the truth. There's a balance here.
And asked, hey, you know, how much is dance? Do you need help with that? You know, can I help pay for the costumes or the monthly payment or anything? It's just been, you get child support. That's it, you know? So I do feel like accountability could be a good thing, but I also feel like transparency, if people could communicate and stay civil with each other, then it would be okay to talk and be like, hey, you know, this is what I'm paying for.
And at the end of the day, you want to keep the court system out of everything as much as possible, because they're just going to complicate stuff.
And then if you don't, you just got to at some point be like, all right, well, I'm already knowing that this person ain't gonna get along with me, and you just gotta move on. Like, you know what I mean?
The other part of it is even if you do have the court involved, it costs more money to go back to court to get somebody on contempt.
Is it unanimously agreed upon that if both people are able to cooperate, which I don't know how likely or unlikely that is, but is that the move to keep the court out of it?
Always, sure.
Always.
For sure.
Agree to end this one. Kids raised by single parents are at a disadvantage. We'll start by bringing up everyone that agrees now.
People keep asking, how do we actually get an AI agent on our team? Well, it's easy. Watch how I do it in 60 seconds.
They're trying to promote AI so bad. They're trying to promote this so bad.
Going off his point earlier, I think when you have a household that has the masculine energy and the feminine energy, when you have that together, the whole household is more
All right, kids raised by single parents are at a disadvantage. Okay, that's the question here. Honestly, I think yes. And the reason why is because that one parent has to do everything. That's just period. And you're not old enough to understand what that means. So you can't even imagine to help at that moment. So it just makes the situation more pitiful.
cohesive. And I think when you split that, it's hard for a dad to make up for the feminine energy, and I think it's hard for the women to make up for the masculine energy. So I absolutely think it's a disadvantage. Now, we're all going at this as single parents. So once you find someone that brings that energy back at the household, I think it picks up and the kids are better off. But while you're single and doing that, absolutely a disadvantage.
I think it's also a disadvantage. Obviously, the kids didn't ask for the situation they're in. And I know from being in the situation myself as a child, and also being the the single parent, I personally didn't like having two separate households, not seeing my biological mom for most of my life. And then at the same time, I dislike that my girls have to go back and forth, like when summer break happens and everybody's like, oh yeah, what are you going to do this summer? It's like, oh, I have to leave, like they didn't get that free time with their friends or their activities or whatever. They had to leave. They couldn't have a summer job or make that extra money. There's just other aspects of it that I feel are a disadvantage. I originally wanted to say no, they're not a disadvantage, but there are some.
I originally wanted to say no too, but there are some. And I mean, even for me, coming from a divorced household in a small town, it was stigmatized. Like we were looked upon as the kids that had no dad, and it sucked. And so I don't think it's as prevalent now, but it's still there. My kids definitely recognize when, oh yeah, their mom and dad, they bring that up all the time. And it's like, yeah, sorry.
I also feel like kids that are in single parent households have to deal with adult situations sooner, because oftentimes parents are unable to realize that, oh, that's an adult conversation. You should not bring your child into that conversation. So then they're kind of brought in the middle of it. And I grew up in a household where my parents have been together for like 65 years. Okay. And so this was all new to me. And everybody that I talked to about living like that, they're like, that was the one thing that was most annoying, was that my parents would involve me in that situation. And I've thought about that like every day of my life. Like, we have to make sure that this does not happen. We have to make sure that adult issues stay adult issues and kid issues stay kid issues. And when the time is right to explain things, if they're asking questions, it is at an age appropriate level, because I know that Rosie and Rory are going to have to deal with those big issues. And I feel like that's a disadvantage.
That's just pretty much based upon you as a parent, period, regardless if you're together with the other person or not. If you're going to allow your kid to be in adult, conversations and stuff like that. For me, it's important to have both parents in the household, because for myself, if I would have had my father around growing up, me and my brother, we wouldn't have started gangbanging or any of that. Because my dad would have been like, hey, you need to be a leader, stop being a follower, do your own thing. And on top of like, I can't teach my daughter how to be a woman, like there's just certain things I can't, or even have those type of conversations with her about it. But, on the other hand, I can teach her how a man's supposed to treat her, and that goes a long way too, because what she accepts and doesn't accept is going to be based upon what she saw her dad and how I interacted with her mom. And regardless of how much her mom pissed me off or would say shit to get under my skin, I never allowed her to see me overreact or ever threaten her mom or ever put my hands on her, ever. Because I don't want her to think that that's cool for a man to ever do that to her, because regardless of however mad you get at a person, you should never put your hands on them, especially if you love that person. And like I said, there's a lot of things that I wouldn't be able to show her. And, for the most part, her mom can't have those conversations with her on like how a man's supposed to treat you and, if a person really cares about you and all those different things too. So it's definitely very, very important to have both parents in the household. And I think everybody in here realizes that.
Sitting here listening to everybody, it just kind of fuels the fire for me with this. The concept of having masculine and feminine energy and each person living in that, right? That is so crucial. It's been proven time and time again for decades, if not for centuries. And that is the tool. That is the way, right? And we see a lot of diversion with that. This comes back into the spirit. What we see is just the flesh. And I'm not trying to take it in a religious way. It's definitely a relationship. But when you go and dig deeper in yourself and realize, oh, it's bigger than me, and stop being so selfish, then that's when change happens.
I mean, like I said earlier, kids don't ask for the situation to happen. I don't think anybody really into marriage wanting to get a divorce.
Yeah.
All right, so I actually know people that, or seen people as well, that actually have done it, but it's a small percentage, I hope. A lot of people go into marriage because they know they can get divorced. There's that.
Like, in some cases, it has to happen. Unfortunately, it just is not civil in a lot of cases. Mm-hmm. And you have the kids that are affected by it. Everybody is affected by it. The thing I hated was when divorce happened for me, I was looked at like I was the bad guy for, well, why aren't you staying? Can't you make it work? I hate to see a broken home. Well, I hate to be in a broken home. What do you mean? I didn't want this to happen. And, things happen in life, but it's what you do with it and how you show up for the kids.
I joke with my kids that my number one job is to make sure they don't have to spend $1 million in therapy when they're an adult, because the same wasn't reciprocated. I mean, my parents they've been divorced for over 30 years and they can't sit in the same room.
Wow.
So that was an example to me that if I ever got divorced, I'm not going to be this way, because 30 years later, I still get tense when they're both in the same room.
Well, in my case, I felt like I was different when it came to being the divorcing wife. I wanted to try to make sure everything was as 50-50 as possible. The lawyer was like, wait, are you sure you want to give that much time? Are you sure you want it? I'm like, yes, he's just as much as I am. I wanted him to be present and have all of the things, but it was like taken advantage of, should I say.
It's not that I agree or disagree with anything, honestly said. So it makes it hard for me to be on one side or the other. I have experience, my parents, I went through the divorce thing. I was in the system as a kid. My rights were given up as a kid for $1,000 in a condemned house. My grandparents finally got me out of the system. They were amazing. They were like the 50th housewife, husband. My grandma died unexpectedly at 13. My grandpa did raise his kids, but he was working on the road. constantly. He supported them. He was only home here and there. He got stuck with me. I got stuck with him. They were together and happy and in love though. But so I've seen all situations. So that's why that's why I haven't said anything. So when she died unexpectedly, we just looked at each other after the funeral and stuff. And he's like, well, kid. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a 13-year-old girl. I haven't, I have 10 brothers. They're from other places. It's just my grandpa and I. And it's like, when I need a tampon, okay? He literally thought it was firecrackers that I needed because they called them firecrackers, okay? That's what it was like. But it was amazing. He unexpectedly passed away too. So a lot of it I was on my own, like on the other foot. Like I grew up very different. On the weekends, I would go where I was supposed to go with one of my other parents because they never took that choice away from me. If I wanted to be in my parents' life or they wanted to be in my life, but they had me dealing drugs. I didn't touch drugs. I was 21, but they had me dealing them. They had me in that lifestyle. I go back to my grandparents, my grandpa. I was a straight A student. I had a scholarship in basketball. I graduated early. I didn't lose my virginity until I was 18 when I thought I was going to marry this man. I mean, things like that. So I've seen it all. So that's kind of why I just,
I appreciate you seeing that.
Yeah, just to let it off.
I mean, I was listening to everybody and I agree with pretty much everybody. It's good to have co-parenting and be on the same page. And it's made me think it's ironic. And most of my friends think this that are, divorced, that it's ironic if you're not spending, a lavish wedding. It costs basically nothing to get married, but God knows how much money to get divorced.
The court system is biased against fathers.
I mean, we pretty much already did this. We're halfway through. It's almost over. Shit. I might just pause it here and then start this tomorrow. Because I'm kind of tired. I could just call this a short episode. A little winner. Because, I am tired. I think I should just call it. But I will go ahead and drop some closing statements. Being exhausted. I'm about to yawn right now. I'm trying to fight it. Raging Tomato is full. Looks like Dusty. Yeah. Should we do some Cardinals Mania? Yeah. Ooh, new Cardinals news. Yeah, let's do that. Click this right here. We're gonna do some new Cardinals. This isn't it, so don't listen to this. This is commercial.
Right now, the head coach, we've stalled long enough. The head coach are joining us right now. The head coach, we've stalled long enough. The head coach of the Cardinals, Mike LaFleur, who joins us here on Burns and Gambo. Coach, good to see you. Nice to meet you. I'm Dave. This is Gambo. We're the Burns and Gambo show. And we appreciate you carving out a few minutes for us.
Thanks for having us, man. I know it's not as fun as the guys you had yesterday, but
No, not as fun. But we're happy to have you.
I appreciate that. I'm happy to be here.
All right, here, let's go right to it. Here it is. There's my play. We got to get Trey McBride to throw a ball this year.
Do you even have 11 guys out there?
I got 11 guys out.
Hey, he said he was gonna do it, y'all. He told Trey on that other interview, right? He told Trey on that other interview, he said, as soon as I talk to him, I'm gonna try to convince him. Try to tell him. Okay, so he kept his word. Remember that. But this is great.
Out there. Are you kidding me? This is a terrific play. Trey loves it. He just texted me. He said, I think that this could work. I love it. So so the goal is to get Trey McBride. He loves to throw the football. He can really sling it. He wants to throw the ball once this year.
Have you seen him throw the football?
He told me he could throw it. I have a lot of faith in him. So this quarterback gets the snap, steps up, throws a lateral to McBride after he goes in motion. Got to lose some ground on the motion, and then we could throw that pass.
It's a great play in terms of just play design.
Yes, thank you.
Picking the person to throw it.
Yeah, so that's not.
He's not the one. Wait,
this is free. I'm not even going to charge you for this right
I
here.
like our offensive skill. I really do. But the other outside of the quarterbacks, those guys can't throw a football for nothing.
Have you seen him throw?
I've seen them all throw. Unfortunately, they all love to throw.
So are we a flat no on this, or is there a 1% chance?
You're never going to say never. There's absolutely no absolutes in football. So we'll never say never. And again, it's Dr. Pepper, bunch left,
right? Yeah,
hack Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, right. I wrote it all down. So bunch left, hack Dr. Pepper. Bunch is the formation, hack is the motion. And then Dr. Pepper is the code for double pass.
That's good.
It's a double pass.
I like
right
that.
There. Yeah,
that's good stuff.
There's a lot of effort went into this.
Heck
right
yeah.
Here. I'm sitting there. I get a free shirt if we can run this. That's all I get out of it. I got a free shirt from McBride.
We'll get you a tank. We'll get you a shirt, whatever you want.
Right. It was a long sleeve like dry fit shirt.
It was a long sleeve dry
fit wearing yesterday. And he's like, if you get coach to run that play, I'll get you this shirt. And Gamba was given his size and everything.
He said he could sling it.
So other than that complete ambush on drawing up a play for Trey McBride, we do appreciate you coming in here. It's a general question, but for you, getting into OTAs now, are you comfortable? Are you feeling like, not that you belong necessarily, but that you are comfortable with what you're doing and what you're having your guys doing? Is you kind of.
Before he goes in on this, all right, I appreciate these guys for doing this. Shout out to Cardinals. Shout out to the Bird Gang. Shout out to everybody, all the podcasters out there doing their thing. Shout out to keeping us going and trying to give us something to look forward to, even though the odds are stacked against us all year long. Thank you for giving us something to live for.
Get acclimated to this, just like the guys are getting acclimated.
Yeah, it's a different location. Obviously, it's a different job title, but myself and the staff, we've been doing this a long time in different places. And again, we're going to do it our way. But I have been fortunate enough to be in some pretty good buildings in the way that they operate and the way that they move around the building and the urgency that they move around with. So it's been a good 2 days. You try to literally just not think ahead. Like I keep telling the staff, we got practice Thursday. I can't get to practice Thursday until I see this second practice and figure out what we want to do on Thursday. You really try to take it one day at a time. You're always competing, you're always challenging the offense. The offense wants to beat the defense wants to beat the offense. But there are some things that we can control in these 11 practices, I should say, that, hey, we got to get Trey McBride this route versus this coverage, and we got to get this quarterback this, concept versus this coverage. And it might not be conducive for the offense right there, but that's okay because in the long run, it's gonna pay off that they're getting some of these tougher looks and stuff like that. So there is a controlled environment to it, and then once you get to training camp, you take the training wheels off, if you will, and you kind of roll the ball out there and you play a little bit more real football.
Yeah.
Jacoby Brissett not being here, how does this affect what you're implementing, the plans, the schemes, everything you're running? You've got Carson, obviously, he's going to get a lot of reps, and you've got Gardner. But not having Jacoby, how does that affect you as a head coach?
Yeah, it's from a foundational teaching the offense. It's the show goes on. So obviously, I've said numerous times this is voluntary. We've had good dialogue with Jacoby. He's played. I said this yesterday too. When these guys have played a lot of football, at least they don't have to go learn how to play football. It'd be one thing if you're a first year, second year, third year guy who's still trying to figure out this game, hasn't seen all the looks that, a guy that's played as long as Jacoby or anyone really north of 30 years old. So when you're not having to teach, how, just the game in general, and you're only teaching scheme, which is just some words and stuff like that, you're not as concerned.
When it comes to Jacoby, when it comes to Gardner Minshew, when it comes to Carson Beck, do you have a particular style of quarterback that you feel like best fits what you're trying to do? And do all three of those guys perfectly fit with what you're trying to do?
All right, so before he answers this question, based off of the predictions that we have for this season, the ones we've made here, if Jacoby Brissett does what he's supposed to do, we can win about 6 games, and he might get paid as a starter if he can win 6 games. And Gardner Minshew may not actually touch the field unless Jacoby gets hurt, and at that case, you're going to see Carson Beck as well. But Jacoby will be the guy for next year, possibly. If he really makes this happen right now, oh yeah, he's gonna be the guy for sure. There ain't gonna be no way getting around it, and that's something that I can appreciate.
Or is there some adjustments and evolution to what they do and what you do to try to
Yeah,
marry the two together?
Yeah, I think that's, and again, that comes with time. Like you're laying out foundations right now for the offense, and then you'll figure out, whatever 11 guys we have out there, what's going to best suit them. We don't have to worry about September right now. We just have to worry about getting those foundations down, how we're hitting blocks, how we're running routes, how the quarterbacks are going through their progressions and their timing. All quarterbacks.
Exactly. Right now, we need to tighten up the team so the team already knows what to do no matter who the quarterback is. And he's about to let you know that the quarterbacks are going to end up being interchangeable eventually.
Come in different shapes and sizes, right? And there's a few, what I would say, non-negotiables in terms of playing quarterback. You got to be able to sit in the pocket. You got to be able to rip through progressions, and you got to be a natural thrower within your own throwing ability. If you're not those three, it's hard to even play in this league, no matter what the offense is. So again, right now, because of all the things I said, like it's in a controlled environment. Once we get a little bit closer, then that's when you pivot it a little bit more to the skill set of the 11 that you're going to have out there.
Are you experimenting a little bit with Jeremiah Love on special teams?
All right, so we're about to get some real information right now. And we're about to be able to take this to the next level. I really wanted them to ask about Clowney and Cam Jordan. That's for real.
Well, I mean, you're experimenting with everyone, in terms of a lot of different spots.
Kickoff returner.
I'm sure Trey probably wants to be a kick returner as well.
No,
but,
I just wants to throw a pass.
It's Jeremiah's a running back. We know that. But you never know. That's it. That's an extremely important play right now that the league has brought back over the years, and it's only probably even going to get more of an uptick. And, to sit here and tell you guys, the first September versus the Chargers that Jeremiah's going to be back there, I'm not going to tell you that because I don't necessarily believe that. But there might be a time and place where, it's situationally the best thing to do for the Arizona Cardinals. So
yeah, Pat Pete once returned punts. Remember, he got drafted and then he
Pro
returned
Bowler
punts
as a
that
punt
first year.
returner,
He was great at it. So the possibility exists that he could get some looks there.
There's no absolute. So I'm not going to say absolutely not or yes.
What are the things have you looked at a lot of film of Marvin Harrison Jr. the last 2 years?
Yeah, I studied one. I love receivers. That was my baby. Being a receiver coach in with Atlanta, and then obviously in San Francisco. So I've always loved.
Oh, so Mike LaFleur is a receiver coach. Oh, he's gonna unlock our receivers. Oh, so his niche is receiver coach. Oh, he loves being a receiver coach. This is good for Marvin Harrison Jr. Oh, this is so good, guys. You guys have no idea. This is gonna be great. All right. Now, we're going to get off this in a second, but, I just wanted to go here real quick.
The studying process of the draft and all that. So watched him coming out a lot, knew, a lot about him as a player, not necessarily as much as a person until I got here. But yeah, it's been fun. And then again, being in the division, since he's been in,
right.
He got after us pretty good in week 2 of 2024 when with the Rams, we came down to State Farm and I think got beat 49-10 or whatever it was, and he ended up having a big one right there. So he's been fun to work with. He approaches this thing the right way. I've been on record saying it was really neat when I came in for the interview process here. The first 3 people I saw in the building at breakfast were Trey McBride, Michael Wilson, and Marvin Harrison. And I saw all 3, and obviously I somewhat knew all 3 of those guys. Trey a little bit more than everybody. And it was like, that's a good omen right there.
Yeah.
You got three of your offensive weapons that are in here early in late January, early February, whenever that was.
We see an extremely talented guy that hasn't broken out yet. First, you a lot of targets, but not a lot of receptions, not a lot of separation. What can your offense do to kind of unleash him so he can play to the potential that we thought the Cardinals were going to get when they drafted him?
Yeah, I mean, it's not just our offense. I think any good coach, you just try to put these guys in positions to be successful. And so each receiver is going to be in a little bit different positions. You know, it's like putting together a basketball team. Like they didn't ask, name the center of Golden State to go shoot threes and Steph to be posted up right there. They put him in those spots, to make sure that those guys are, in position to do what they do best. So it's something that we're learning right now. I feel like I have a pretty good idea how we're going to use them. But again, we're only 2 days into this thing. Once we get a little bit further, I think it'll show itself even more.
Was there something about him physically that you looked at that you wanted to correct? How he catches the ball, how he positions his body, how he goes about anything in his job as a wide receiver? Did you see something on film that made you go, okay, let's tweak that, let's try to fix that with Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Yeah, well, you try to do that with everybody.
Right.
You do that with Trey. You do that with all those guys. And again, I just told you some prerequisites with quarterbacks. I'll just generally tell you what we tell all these receivers. Like there's always an ability to run through the ball a little bit better. There's always the ability to pluck it off your body a little bit better. But you have to train those fundamentals hard. And again, we only through 2 days, but we're able to do that quite a bit in phase 2, where you're correcting all those little mini details.
Mike LaFleur, the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, our guest here. And as a reminder, tickets for the Cardinals home games, including season ticket packages and single game options, are on sale now at azcardinals.com/tickets. I want to ask you a question about the defense, if only because we've been talking about all the changes on the offense, all the new personnel. The defense, with an exception here or there, is largely the same personnel with the same coordinator. What different things are you going to be asking out of the mostly same personnel and the same coordinator that maybe wasn't here the last couple of years? What do you want to see that, other than stay healthy, what do you want to see that unit do different?
I think that's the key, though, right? When we played them last year, it was just both games were two totally different rosters, it felt like. Even game planning for them this past year, you had to take out some games because it was like, well, those 5 guys aren't even playing, and they're making a mess up front right now in terms of a good thing for Arizona, but 2 of those 3 of those guys aren't even going to be out there, and so you really had to almost just kind of, okay, what are they going to do schematically? Don't even worry about the players, because I don't even know what players are going to be out there. So I know this in 24 with a lot of the same guys, and I thought Monty added to it, and again, a lot of those guys ended up getting hurt in 25, but I know in 24 we didn't do very hot versus them with the Rams. We beat them in that second game, but it wasn't because of what we did on offense, And I know, I believe in Nick. He was a tough dude to always game plan against. I know these guys have a lot of respect for him, and I know we got the right guys in the building to play good defense.
What was the reasoning in retaining Nick as a defensive coordinator?
I think it's, these guys have been in the system, and it is a unique system, and it is tough to prepare for. And Nick cares so much about this that he's as hard on himself as anybody, which is all you want in a coach. You want that in players, but you want that in coaches too. Like, I'm going to be my biggest critic. I never think you've ever gotten there, you've arrived or anything. You're always going to be critical of yourself, and I see the same things in Nick, and I know these guys have a lot of respect for the way that he works and the way that he coaches those guys.
Was it always him from the get-go, or did you interview a bunch of potential defensive coordinator candidates and then went back to him?
Well, yeah, we went through a process like we did with every other, coach in this that we ended up hiring, whether it be coordinator down to all the position coaches down to the QCs. So went through the process because you owe it, to the Arizona Cardinals. The one thing I knew Nick because obviously I had to go against him 6 times, so game plan against him 6 times, but I didn't know him personally, So you want to go through a process to make sure that we were getting to the right people.
When I look at the schedule, Cardinals 0-6 in the division last year. Gannon's first year 0-6. I think in the last 3 years, the Cardinals are 3-15 in the division. We're all getting our asses kicked, getting tired of it. How important is it for you, for this organization, for this team to do better in the division? Rams, Seahawks, 49ers, start winning some of those games.
Yeah, I mean, let's call it what it is. All right, this is a bottom line business. You got to win football games, and it starts with winning in the division. Like let's throw that out there, but I don't want our players thinking about any of that right now. I want them thinking about getting back in the film room and seeing what we can correct from today's practice. We're going to be above the neck tomorrow with our jog through, and then we're going to finish this week out with the best OTA 3 that we possibly can. I know who we play week 1, but I don't even want them being concerned with week 1 right now. Like, you just be where your feet are. That is so far in advance right now. And again, I'll acknowledge it. I get it. It's a bottom line business, and you got to be able to get it done. Otherwise, there's, we all know what happens right there. But that's not where our focus is. Our focus is going to be how can we play really good football in week 1, period.
Coach, we appreciate the conversation. As always, we look forward to many more of them. Hopefully catch up around training camp and then during the season. Thanks for stopping by for a few minutes. We really do appreciate it. It's nice meeting you.
Thanks guys.
You got it.
Thanks, Coach.
Mike LaFleur, head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, our guest here on the Burns and Gambo Show. And
Thanks for watching Burns and Gambo. Click to see more from the guys and hit the button in the middle to subscribe so you never miss a video from Arizona sports.
That, my friends, is, as they would say, that. Now, I have nothing but high hopes for the Cardinals. So I keep up with them. Excuse me. I keep up with them. I gotta keep up with the Cardinals. Why? Because they're the most underdog team ever. Okay? It's gonna be hard being a Cardinals fan for a while. But this year, I feel like there's something different in the air, right? I feel like the Redbirds are gonna fly higher than all the other teams this year. More than you think. And it's not because of our quarterback situation. Because later, let's say somebody doesn't get a contract, right? Let's see. Let's look some stuff up real quick. That's what we should do, right? Let's see. We're gonna look something up because I really want to dig deeper into like the different agents that are available when it comes to this. Hold on, let me grab my keyboard real quick. We're gonna do it like this. All right, so we go. We'll pull up basic. I'm just gonna pull up the basic old school OG Google real quick, and we want to find out which quarterbacks, right? Which one will be free agents 2026 season, yeah, because we just did 2026 stuff. No, we need 2027. That'll be the future. All right, cool. All right, let's see. I want to pull up these real quick. Let's try. We're gonna look up this agent tracker. We're gonna show this real quick. All right, Kyler Murray, right? Okay, market Deshaun Watson. He's going to be available next year. Matthew Stafford's going to be available next year. Okay, so this is the end of 2027 season right here. All right, this is what we're looking at. So Kyler Murray has 1 year with. All right, so Kyler Murray is the #1 quarterback on the list right here. But we already just got rid of Kyler Murray from the Cardinals, so we're not looking at him. So these are all of our possible quarterbacks. Jacoby Brissett's free agent. that he's down there. Marcus Mariota is going to be a free agent in 2027. This is before our draft. David Millis, Anthony Richardson, Justin Fields. Ooh, interesting. He's not terrible. Baker Mayfield as a Cardinal will be interesting. We might be able to scoop up Baker. We'll have plenty of money. Oh yeah, he'll get a Super Bowl with the Cardinals. Oh yeah. Baker Mayfield. He's 32. Definitely an upgrade from Jacoby-Brissett. Alright. Matthew Stafford. If he doesn't sign, right? Deshaun Watson, interesting. But I think Baker Mayfield would be a great pickup, for real. I think that'd be fun to watch. Or Matthew Stafford coming through to Arizona, taking a tour next year, 2027. These are the free agents on the market. Joe Flacco. Right now, he's still the backup for the Cincinnati, I think. Let's see, Gardner Minshew, he's with us. He's on a 1 year, he's on a 1 year. Thought too. Mac Jones. Okay, we got a few little guys we could possibly see if they'll turn into some stars here. Let me see. These are all the free agents. Trey Lance. I don't know. So these are going to be all the free agents 2027. All right, but that's way down. So these are going to be your top guys up here. All right. So we could possibly pick somebody up 2027. Baker Mayfield might want to come here if we do decently. If Carson Beck fails, we could just pick one of these guys up and draft better O-line. Okay, Cardinals, I see where you're going with this. All right, so this will be really good right here. This will be very fun. And we need to make sure we have to make sure that we take care of our fans here. So these are all the available quarterbacks in 2027 free agents. All right. Now, what we'll do here is we'll leave this up for a second so you can see our top picks all the way to Mac Jones from Kyler Murray. We're not getting Kyler Murray back. I don't think so. I think Kyler Murray might earn himself a contract because he's going to the playoffs. He better go to the playoffs. If you let me down, Kyler Murray, I'm going to be very disappointed in you. You have a pretty decent setup over there. Hopefully. All right, you better work on those legs, get that knee strong, and make this your best year. So the last 3 years, because I don't know how long you're going to stay in the NFL. I don't know how long Kyler Murray is going to stay in the NFL. I don't think he likes football as much as other people do. But he's on his favorite team, so maybe it'll ignite a flame in him. You know what I mean? But right now, all right, let's see. Let's see this. Which quarterback's available? Let's see. All right. I'm hitting that right now because I want to know. Oh shit, it's good. Gotcha. All right, so which quarterbacks are going to be available, right? In 2027 drafts. It's going to be interesting to know too. And that was it. This was according to the spot track, whatever this is, NFL, right? That was your leaks for this. Kyler Murray through Mac Jones. All right. Now, I'm trying to see what to. Alright, so I'll try this. Yeah, Arizona losing everything. March Madness is crazy. That's wild. That's wild. So that's what we're doing right now. We're looking at the the quarterbacks available. All right. So basically, those are the quarterbacks that are going to be available right there. We'll leave the rest alone. So we got caught up with all of that. My main point for all of this was Arizona Cardinals are in a great place for growth. They are in a great place for the next step to be taken. There's other things that they could do to make the team better, but right now it's all about coaching. It's all about packages. I think this year 4 of Nick Rawlins is going to be incredible. I think most people that are going to be, most of the team's going to be healthy for sure on defense. All right, for sure. Cardinals going to eat this year, but it's going to be great. It's going to be great. Now, I was just talking about sports for a second because, it was on my mind. It's been on my mind. That's what I'm looking forward to. This Christmas, I want to see a football game. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. See if I can go to one of these things. Real talk. It's going to be fun on Christmas, too. That's going to be a great game to go to. If you can catch a home game on Christmas, it would be nice. But not this year. I might go that Sunday, though. Whichever Sunday is closer to Christmas, I'm gonna go to that football game. So I gotta check the dates one more time and stuff. But we gotta live life a little bit. You gotta enjoy the little things, because big stuff is supposed to be able to help you maintain that mindset of abundance. Because with abundance comes reference and perspective. But that humble beginnings, depending on whether you actually healed from a lot of the trauma that could happen when you're a young age, if you haven't truly healed from that, trying to become someone that has a lot of money, like let's say you do get a lot of money and you haven't healed, that money can make you become something that you didn't want to become, something that people don't want to be around, you know? So, like, money will separate you from others if you allow it to. Either way, life, you know, we gotta do what we gotta do. So that's where everybody is at, really. It's time to just do what you gotta do. But any topics that anybody want to talk about, I could bring that logic. It is what it is. For today, I think I'm done with it. Y'all have a good night. I'm out of here. It's time for me to shut the fuck up. This show is alright, right? I don't know. It was,
Get ready.
My little homegirl put me on. She said, this shit brand new, free flow. Lady rappers been acting like this is not an art. Huh, you forgot about that part. Lady rappers been acting like this is not an art. Huh, you forgot about that part. Lady rappers been spitting like they ain't got a heart. Because when I step to the game, I rip that shit apart. My evolution with the Gyarados from Magic Carp, and I ain't finished shopping till the whole world is in my cart. When you fucking with me,
you do not
choose a role and play your
want to
part.
change,
Beneficial functionality and strategy.
if you do not want to better yourself, if you do not want to break
always feel this hard,
outside
only if the universe keeps dealing shitty cards.
if you want to
Trying
live in
as
your
hard as I
comfortable
can
delusion
against all of the odds.
that they have
Pushing as
built
hard as I
for
could
you.
is what got me so far. But what are my chances of actually
Do not
reaching the stars? Still, I will
watch
never
this
get uptight over
Leave
my
this
heart.
channel.
Never
Keep
my
it
senses heightened and my weed up in the
If
jar.
you
Sexy middle
do
Eastern
not
looking ass
want
like
any
I'm
truth,
far. When it comes to
don't
the
want to
game,
understand,
I'm an
if
eagle,
you are
your
not
car.
here
Please don't get to slipping. I'ma catch you off
hear
guard while you
something
chilling in the
that's
crib.
outside
got
of
your
your
chick in my
own
car.
mind,
Every
and
time you
accept
hear it tripping like that shit
others'
sounds
minds and
bizarre.
opinions,
Your
the way
favorite
they
rapper
think for
try hard,
themselves,
still
do
is a
not
mark.
follow.
Still like the fuel to the
And
game,
fine.
watch it spark. My
If you
lines
are
burn
not
like
trying
blunts
to
getting smoked in the dark.
positive,
Hella cooking
if you are
shit
not
up.
trying
If your
to
ass
help
wanna spar,
create
barbecue
solutions
your
while we
beef
discuss
up
the
like the seats
problems
in my
and how they
car.
got
Cool
here,
yourself off refrigerator.
you do not
jar.
belong here.
Rappers
Negativity,
this is not an
hate,
art, not an art.
disrespect, name calling, those things will not be allowed here on this platform and not in this empire. We are the ones, the true Americans that want to be free and stand as we have always stood.
My little homegirl put me on. She said,